So thank you. Rick, this is lesson information for 10/21, 2016. So on your keyboard stuff, do the next four unfamiliar etudes out of the horn books. If you're, I don't think you're at the end of book one, but when you are, you can go on to book two. And we talked about some strategies and specific things you might do in different parts of some of the pieces, toward making you more successful as a sight reader. I think the gist of it is, if you see patterns that use or passages that use a significant number of grace notes or ledger lines, then write some notes in or relate them to previous melodic material so you don't have to actually read it so much. Even when you're sight reading, that's something to try for. And then on sticking, since you're trying to read, be more simplistic about your stickings, even if they're not the most musically ideal or most comfortable. Some in terms of or elegant, sometimes the simple sticking is best when you're trying to read and just produce right notes and right rhythms. So you had some double stickings on arpeggio patterns today that you might just as well have done as alternation with some shifting. Then on snare drum, on the accent fill-ins, we need to relax. You need to use your elbow only for a molar stroke and then only a minimal amount. All the other strokes need to be wrist strokes, and think really, really relaxed in your wrist and hand, almost to the point maybe of being sloppy. We're going to try to go to that extreme so we get you away from that extra elbow action that's kind of getting in the way of your facility. On buzz rolls, we did three different things now. You've got the individual buzz strokes you've been working on, and we talked really today about you're being pretty close on speed to roll speed. You just need to be consistent. The connection at the slower or middle range is there. So as you go faster, just keep concentrating on that connection. All right. The middle one was the roll starts, and we slowed down, and you were going to do longer lengths of roll starts as it went slower, and then we tied that into your piece, trying to put a tap at the end of a roll start versus just doing a roll start for those soft short rolls that you have in the middle of etude number two. And then the third level of technique on snare was doing just a lengthy roll. You're going to record yourself conducting arbitrary lengths of time and just roll until you cut yourself off. And again, the goal right now is not necessarily to get you a great sounding roll, but to get you away from specifically trying to play a particular meter or rhythm to fill a particular amount of time on. If you have an indeterminate amount of time, you can't really decide, I'm going to play this rhythm. You have to just roll. And getting away from having to play a particular roll bass or rhythmic bass for the roll is the goal of that. Eventually, we'll tie that into the first exercise where you're at roll speed and you have a feel what that is. Your buzzes meshed together. Then we'll go for not just divorcing yourself from a specific rhythmic bass, but actually making the roll sound good for arbitrary lengths of time. Then we'll do arbitrary lengths, arbitrary dynamics, and you'll get better and better. You're working on surround number two. You're going to really slow down and work from very open to closed on the roughs. And we're going to do that piece for the rep class in 2 weeks. And then I gave you the B section with today's date for etude number 4. And if you feel like you've got that mastered, go ahead and go on to C section.